Here's your First Warn Weather Forecast First, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Yesterday's snow that had blanketed the state line has left some areas underneath a little bit of a cooler temperature gradient. Areas to the south that did not see much of the snow accumulation have been a little bit warmer into the afternoon. However, many spots still remained in the 30s and into the low 40s for many of us here into the afternoon. That snow has begun melting underneath this late March sunshine that was depicted with lots of high pressure into the area. That high pressure, though, is beginning to give way to our next weather system that will begin to work its way into the region into the overnight hours tonight. That will bring us a chance for some isolated flurries, followed by a chance for some rain and then some more snow as we get into the day tomorrow. I'll break down all of our precipitation chances and the timing of those coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
The Latina Leader of the Year is honored. The Rockford native hopes to inspire other young Latina women. Female authors and artists continue to support one another. The Women's History Month event encouraging collaboration. And celebrating National Puppy Day by giving back. The photo op that supports our furry friends.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Castro. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll have those stories in just a few minutes, but first, a government shutdown is averted. President Biden has signed a $1.2 trillion funding bill. The president called the last-minute compromise, quote, good news for the American people. More than 70% of the package includes funding for the Defense Department, as well as Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, and other critical government operations. After narrowly securing a two-thirds majority in the House Friday morning, the Senate passed the bill overnight by a vote of 74 to 24. Two more cases of the measles have been confirmed in Chicago. That brings the city's total now to 17 cases. It's not clear where the two new cases have been identified. A majority have been at the migrant shelter in Pilsen, with the first case less than 2 weeks ago. Most of the people infected are 4 years old or younger. The Department of Public Health is working to get residents at the city's shelters vaccinated against the measles. Stellantis is recalling more than 300,000 vehicles because the airbags can explode with too much force. The bags can even inflate if there isn't a crash. The recall covers certain Dodge Charger and Chrysler 300 sedans. The airbags can also shoot metal fragments at drivers and passengers. Stellantis has received 7 warranty claims and customer assistant reports, but no injuries. Affected owners will be notified in May. Dealers will replace both side airbag modules. The FAA is increasing its oversight of United Airlines. The decision follows a series of incidents, including a plane losing an external panel and another plane losing a tire during takeoff. United says the FAA will review work processes, manuals, and facilities. The agency will then determine if any changes are needed. The FAA says it is routine for its safety assurance system to monitor an airplane's operations. The Department of Education says it has discovered another issue with federal student loan applications, and hundreds of thousands need to be reprocessed. The department says a vendor miscalculated a formula that helps colleges determine financial aid packages. The issue could further delay college decisions for more than 200,000 students, but the department says it's unlikely anyone received the wrong aid offers. Rockford's Ethnic Heritage Museum honors the Latina Leader of the Year. Melissa Santillan is involved in the city's arts community as a board member on the RAAC. She's also a hairstylist and podcast host. Her family and friends gathered to celebrate her today. Santillan grew up in Rockford, working as a waitress in her grandmother's restaurant. She says her grandmother is her biggest inspiration, encouraging her to make her own path.
Receiving this is really letting younger Latinas know that they can accomplish anything that they would like to accomplish in their lives. Hard work is going to open up doors, networking. You can do multiple things. You can be an entrepreneur.
This afternoon's celebration included a presentation and live performances at the museum, followed by an after party. Continuing to celebrate women in our community this Women's History Month, the work of local female artists and authors are on display at Midway Village Museum. Mary Kay Morrison, Tricia Wagner, Cindy Bayer, and Janie Wilson Cook were in attendance. Women's Space was also there to discuss their services and programs. Women's Space is a community center focused on connecting and empowering each other through arts programming.
We kind of do this day in and day out throughout the year, but it's nice to have a month to highlight that focus of not only what we're doing at Women's Space, but what other women are doing in the community as well.
Guests could also view the museum's exhibit titled Pioneering Women in Social Work, Trailblazers of Compassion. It's National Puppy Day, and what better way is there to celebrate than with a photo shoot? Dogs and their owners pose for pictures with the Easter Bunny this afternoon, all while raising money for a local group. Blake Dietz has more from the Rockford store hosting the event.
3, 2, 1. Oh, I think you got one.
Dog owners and their furry friends flock to Bark on Mulford to get their pictures taken at the pet store's second annual Easter Bunny photo shoot. The idea began with a Christmas shoot complete with a Grinch, says Bark on Mulford owner Kay Bussey Kleber.
We used to borrow a Grinch outfit from somebody we knew, and we ended up purchasing it so we can use it every year. So it brings the people out. They love to come and support, the cause, as well as get a picture of their dog with the bunny or whatever holiday.
Supporting the cause is the reason behind the events. Bussey Kleber says they chose a different nonprofit to fundraise for every shoot, with Saturdays being especially meaningful.
Today we're benefiting the Rockford Police Canine Unit in honor of Nick's just passing. So all the donations are going to be forwarded to them. This was one dear to our heart. We have some people involved with the community that this was a big deal, and we wanted to honor him and do a little something that we could contribute to whatever the Friends of the Rockford Police Canine Unit's going to use it for.
Close to 100 dogs are expected to have their photos taken, and with donations ranging from $5 to $20, everyone can walk away happy, including Maverick and his family.
Was it fun? Yeah. Yeah. You enjoyed it, right? And it goes for a good cause? For the Rockford Police Canine? Yeah.
It's very special, yeah. I'm an animal lover. We've had our shop now 6 years, and we like to give back. We use the hashtag community love, so it's important to us.
Reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm Blake Dietz.
Some good news from Hall of Famer and Chicago Cubs legend Ryne Sandberg. He says there is no cancerous activity in his body. Rhino posted the announcement yesterday on Instagram. He also said he continues with chemotherapy treatments and radiation. This past January, Sandberg announced he began treatment for metastatic prostate cancer. His statement concluded by thanking everyone for their support, love, and positive thoughts. The latest in a former President Trump's civil fraud case. Coming up, he only has a few days left to secure the bond.
Our temperatures had warmed all the way up into the mid-30s today, despite the snow that we had yesterday. I'll let you know when our temperatures are expected to warm even more than that, and when we start to see our next precipitation chances moving into the area, coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Taylor Castro, Reagan Holgate, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Efforts to bring about a ceasefire in Gaza have hit another roadblock. The U.S. backed a ceasefire resolution in the United Nations, but Russia and China vetoed the measure. The draft resolution called for an immediate and sustained ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, and for the release of all remaining hostages. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is urging Israel to wind down its offensive and avoid another ground assault on the war-torn region. But after today's meeting, the Israeli Prime Minister saying Israel is prepared to go it alone without U.S. support. He says an invasion of Rafah is the only way to ensure Israel's long-term security. Former President Trump has until Monday to secure a $454 million bond or face the possibility of losing some of his properties. He's waiting for a decision on his appeal from a state court. CB Cotton has more.
Staring down a Monday deadline to secure a bond for nearly $500 million, former President Donald Trump says he's got the cash and the gumption, telling Fox News Digital, quote, "I'll fight this all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court if necessary." The former president also told Fox Digital he has nearly $500 million in cash and properties driving loads of money, but added, Quote, "That doesn't mean I'm going to give money to a rogue and incompetent judge, the puppet of a corrupt attorney general." Trump's criticism for those involved in the New York civil fraud trial against him, Judge Arthur Engoron and New York Attorney General Letitia James, comes after his legal team told the court Trump had been unable to secure a bond for the $454 million civil fraud judgment against him. Trump's lawyers have asked the court to waive the bond or accept a smaller amount while they appeal the massive judgment. No one's ruled, but there could be new cash flows on the horizon for Trump. On Thursday, the Associated Press broke word of the fundraising agreement between Trump and the RNC, placing the committee third in line after Trump's campaign and his primary political action committee, Save America. Save America has paid legal expenses in the past, but a spokesperson noted, quote, "Save America also covers a very active and robust post-presidency office and other various expenses." Another source of cash that could be freed up is through Trump's social media company, which manages Truth Social. It will be going public. There is a potential windfall of $3 billion or more for Trump, who's got a majority stake, but only if the board waives a 6-month lockup period on his shares.
Up to 9 inches of snow blanketed the state line yesterday, but the sun was out today to melt it away. Jordan tells us if we'll see a warm up this week in his full forecast, coming up next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Upwards of a half of a foot of snow or more had been dumped on the state line with our storm system that moved through early in the day yesterday, and we could see a mark that was left behind even from space. Visible satellite imagery was able to depict pretty quickly how much of that snow was evident. We saw, even as we got through the day, that area where we saw the most snowfall was still just to the north of the Rockford region for the most part, and to the south of that, not a whole lot of snow at all. As a matter of fact, in Rochelle, they didn't even see any snowfall accumulation, at least very briefly they did, but then it melted away fairly quickly even yesterday. Now into the afternoon, a lot of that snowfall has been melting. As you see, that area of snow cover has been shrinking throughout the afternoon underneath all of this sunshine that we saw. Did not quite disappear from our SkyTrack camera overlooking the Park Hills Golf Course out in Freeport. This SkyTrack camera is brought to us by the Rockford Career College, but it does show increasing cloud cover. That's going to bring our next weather system into the region as we get into the night tonight. Still some of that snow in some of the areas of parking lots, but for the most part, roads still remaining fairly cleared, even from what we had yesterday. As I mentioned, that next weather system beginning to work its way in. The sunshine that we saw today was thanks to the high pressure in the area. That high pressure depicted just off to our north and to our northwest with this counterclockwise spin up just northwest of La Crosse. But our next weather system beginning to work its way into the region, bringing us increasing cloud cover and eventually increasing precipitation chances as well. That cloud cover already starting to show up when we look off to our west. Temperatures not really budging too much with the cloud cover. 35 in Galena, 36 in Savannah, 33 degrees the current temperature in Freeport, 36 in Rockford. Lots of sunshine and temperatures around 37 degrees both in Rochelle and in DeKalb. Our weather watcher Terry out in Genoa is reporting a temperature of 38 degrees along with a dew point of 18 and winds out of the north around 8 miles per hour. That next weather system, as I mentioned, already starting to produce some rain and snow showers across portions of Iowa. This is what's going to work its way into the state line as we get into the night tonight. That will initially bring us a chance for some isolated flurries and even some snow showers after midnight. Temperatures will not fall very far as a result of that, only down into the upper 20s underneath the increasing cloud cover. We do work our way back up into the 40s tomorrow, but we do start out with a chance for some wintry mix, transitioning into some rain showers once we get into the afternoon. We also see an increase in winds. This is because our tightening pressure gradient with outgoing high pressure system and incoming low pressure system, and a very strong one at that, going to bring wind gusts possibly up around 30 or even 35 miles per hour during the day on Monday. As far as our rain chances go, and this is precipitation with Futurecast, we see the increasing flurry chances into the night tonight, followed by that rain and snow mix as we get into the afternoon. Once we get toward the evening, I do think we get some dry time, but increasing winds Increasing moisture and increasing warmth does bring us our next precipitation chances and lots more rain showers as we get in the next couple of days, even going into Sunday night and even lasting into the middle of the day on Monday, and even some isolated thunderstorms possible as we get Monday afternoon into the evening. A good soaking rain for many of us with possible accumulation amounts for our rainfall up around an inch or so. 45 degrees is where we head for tomorrow with the chance for some wintry mix. 56 though on Monday, much warmer with those chances for rain and thunderstorms, but a cooler and calmer middle of the week before we get our next weather system toward the end of the week.
Thanks, Jordan. Reagan's next with sports. The Illini are trying to get past the second round. That game preview plus much more tournament action is coming up.
Now sports with Reagan Holgate.
It's been 19 years since Illinois has made the Sweet 16. They're on the doorstep and just a few hours away from facing 11 seed Duquesne in the second round. The team is well aware what's at stake, but it's March and that means anything can happen. Getting out to better starts is a priority for the Illini. They've played behind in each of their last 4 games. The latest coming when they went down a quick 9-0 against Morehead State on Thursday. And after trailing by double digits in all 3 outings at the Big Ten tournament, the Illini know they can't play with that kind of fire again if they want to advance, because they're set to face a tough Dukes team that's won 9 straight games, including an upset of BYU.
I think it's just our approach, just knowing that we could come in and just murder a team and bury them from the start.
It's definitely about our mindset. It's about who wants it more, and then, we just got to stay connected.
It shouldn't take the other team to have to score back-to-back times for us to turn it up. I feel like if we come out with that type of energy that we always come out in the second half with, I feel like we're unstoppable.
It's a 7:40 start in Omaha. That game will be broadcast on TNT. The Illini are 10.5-point favorites over the Dukes, who are fresh off their first NCAA tournament win in 55 years. Now let's take a trip to Salt Lake City for a West Region matchup between Dayton and number 2 seed Arizona. Dayton cut it to 7 at the break after being down 17. Darren Holmes backing down his defender here, spins the baseline and scores. He had a game-high 23. Dayton got back within 3 midway through the half. Caleb Love hits the mid-range jumper. Love led the Wildcats with 19, and Arizona wouldn't look back after that. They won 78-68 to become the first team in the tournament to advance to the Sweet 16. Now this was a monster of a matchup we had in the Midwest region. Number 5 Gonzaga versus number 4 Kansas. 5 minutes left here in the first half. Zags up 4. Braden Huff goes for the flush. Huff had 11 off the bench, and the Zags would trail by 1 going into the break. But the Bulldogs came out firing in the second half. Less than 6 minutes in, Graham Ike knocks down the baseline jumper to cap a 15-0 run in Kansas with only 24 second half points. Gonzaga dominates 89-68 to secure their 9th consecutive trip to the Sweet 16. All right, switching gears here to the women's side of things. Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes handle their first round matchup with ease, 91-65 over Holy Cross. Clark had 27 points and 10 assists. Now, former Hononegah standout Jordan King and the Marquette women's basketball team took the court this afternoon as the 10 seed up against Ole Miss in the first round of the tournament. But that's where King's career with the Golden Eagles will end. They lost 67-55. Now, the Ice Hogs are back in action tonight, looking for their 4th straight win as they host the Griffins. But tonight is more special because the Ice Hogs are honoring their 3rd and final inductee, Steve Martinson, into their Ring of Honor. Martinson led the Ice Hogs to the team's one and only league title in 2007 when he coached Rockford to a Colonial Cup championship. The ceremony will happen during the first intermission of tonight's game. Now, the Hogs have won 10 of their last 11 games and have jumped to 3rd in the Central Division, just 6 points now behind Grand Rapids. Puck drop is set for 7 p.m. We'll have all the action from the BMO coming up tonight at 10. That's sports. We'll be right back.